Okay, so this is Magic Jack.
He's a professional magician. And Jack, go ahead and how about you just introduce yourself? Tell us, a little bit about who you are.
Uh, Thank you, JR. And yeah, so my name is Jack Maxwell, a professional magician based out of South Florida, kind of right between Miami and Fort Lauderdale, in Hollywood, really Dania Beach, Florida. It's right by the beach. And I am a professional magician. I'm a dad. I've been married almost 20 years now, and I have a 17-year-old daughter, an 11-year-old son. And magic is my only source of income. And I've been doing magic since I was 7 years old, and professionally for money since I was 14.
Awesome. So, what propelled you to get into magic? How did you get started? What inspired you?
Okay, it's a long story, man. So I will
Take
tell
time.
you, I grew up in a magic shop. My dad's not a magician. I'm the only magician in my family, and my dad had a costume shop back in the '80s, and it was like before Party City and before all the costume shop explosion. So he was the only source to get costumes. So one of his wholesalers said, "Hey, you should sell some magic, magic novelties, jokes, and gags." And so he started getting some magic tricks in, and to kind of keep me busy and keep me out of trouble, because I was what you would call a trouble dude. I would learn magic tricks and I would work behind the counter and sort of demo the tricks. And it just kind of snowballed from there. I was a really bad student in school and I had some learning disabilities. Learning I could learn something out of a book and fool the adults and genuinely fool them. They had no idea how I was doing the trick. I thought that was incredibly awesome. So it just kind of started from there. I got like different tricks like the ball, the bass, the hot rod, different magic sets, and it just kind of exploded from there. And along the way, I had some awesome mentors who kind of mentored me along the way. And Yeah, I mean, it could be quite a longer story than that, but that's kind of how I got into magic was through the magic shop and just kind of learning and being a sponge and learning so much magic. And then from there, uh, from working in the shop for, I'd say, 20 years or so, I opened my own magic shop. And then I had my own magic shop here in Hollywood, Florida, for about maybe 9 years or so. And once the session came in 2009, 2008, 2009, I started to phase out of the magic shop, kind of packed up shop, and started working full time just doing shows. And so that's what I've been doing since 2009 is kind of grinding it out, building my business base, and doing shows. So that's kind of the history, the short story of the long story.
Uh-huh. Awesome. So, how old were you? Did you say when you got into it?
So I was 7 years old when I started learning magic tricks and really started taking it seriously around 14. I had a mentor. His name's Larry Taylor. He's from Philadelphia, and he had his own magic shop, and he was kind of like the magic department manager. And we kind of had a hate love relationship, and I'm still very much close with this guy till this day. He showed me a lot of tough love, and growing up, I was in and out of trouble. I was constantly in trouble, and I was getting arrested, and I was getting locked up, and I was like a hardhead, knuckleheaded kid, and it kind of magic has always kind of helped me and kept me grounded. And once I'll go into the long story because this is an interview.
Yeah, you're fine.
So, so back in the late 90s, I was getting in a lot of trouble. I was nothing violent, no violent crimes, but I was in and out of jail. I was literally in and out of jail from the time that I was like 17 to the time I was like 21. And I would get locked up. I would get out on probation. I would violate probation. And so I was in and out of school. I went to 4 different high schools. School was really difficult for me. And then this last time when I had got locked up, um, I ended up getting my high school diploma when I was in jail. And I came up with this business plan that I was going to open my magic shop when I got out. So when I finally got out around 2001, 2002, really like 2001. I'll tell you a funny story. Actually, when I was locked up, to make friends, I would perform and teach magic in jail, believe it or not. And
Nice.
so I would, I would make friends that way, and I would keep people off my back. I would teach magic tricks, and I'm a people person, so I have no problem walking up to complete strangers, no matter where it is, even in jail. And my cellie was like, "Hey, aren't you that guy from the magic shop?" And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, I've been to the shop. You've sold me magic tricks before. And what are the chances of me being locked up with this guy who knows me from the streets, who used to buy magic from me at my dad's magic shop?" The name of the shop was called Annie's Costumes and Magic, and it was in Plantation, Florida. And so I started teaching him magic. It turns out he was a business planner, and he was locked up because he had a fake pilot's license. And around that time in 2001, after the Trade Center, after 9/11, they were cracking down on that. So he was waiting to go to federal prison, and he was my cellmate. And so in return for me teaching him magic, he helped me work out this business plan. And so when I got out of jail, I had some money saved up. I opened up this magic shop, and it was awesome. I turned my life around. I haven't even gotten a speeding ticket since then. I guess you could say that I am rehabilitated. That's right. So yeah, it was a crazy upbringing, but I definitely learned a lot from it, and I haven't been in trouble since, man. And so then, I opened this magic shop, and then that's when the new chapter of my life began.
That's very cool, and that everything worked out for the betterment of you as a person. So what was the first trick that you ever learned?
So the first trick that I ever learned, I'd say, was the ball vase, the ball and vase trick. Are you familiar with it?
Yes, where you put I think there's like a. Well, what you were referring to, the one with the rope or something else?
No, that's the prayer vase, actually. The ball vase, I have one here. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, go ahead and pull it.
Yeah. So this is the ball and vase right here. This is the ball vase. One of my first tricks. And if you want, I could perform it for you. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, I know that you see it. Now that you show it, I know what you're talking about. But yeah, go ahead and perform it. Why not? Let me.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll back it up for our viewers here. And it's a classic bit of magic. Can you see me okay?
Yes, I can.
All right, cool. So look, it's a little vase base, depending on where you're from. Here's the trick. The trick is really simple. Is what you do is you take the ball and you put it inside the pocket just like that. And all you have to do is say the secret magic words. They're so secret I can't even share them with you. So they're very secret. And look, when I do that, I snap my fingers. Check it out. Oh my gosh, that's when the ball comes back inside the base. Pretty cool. I know what you're thinking, though. If I put the ball in my pocket, all I have to do is give it a little snap like that. Snap, that's when the ball vanishes. And check it out. The ball actually jumps back inside the pocket, just like so. And that was basically the first trick I ever learned. That is an old school effect that I teach my students now. And it was one of the first tricks I ever learned. And so another one was called the hot rod. I'm sure you've seen that trick, the little stick.
Yeah, I own one.
Yeah. So that was another one of my early tricks. And so one thing I do love is I love card tricks. I collect card tricks. Card tricks are my hobby, and magic is my job. And I really do enjoy learning different card tricks. And I have a huge library of books. And they say in magic, if you want to keep it a secret, you put it in a book, and that's where all the good secrets
So, since your favorite kind of tricks are card tricks, what is your favorite card trick that you like to perform?
So my favorite card trick that I love the ambitious card routine. The ambitious card routine, and a card to impossible location. Another trick I love to perform is a trick. I know you like Jay Sankey. I've seen you post a lot of his stuff. Is paperclip, and Jay Sankey's paperclip I use almost in all close-up situations. Where a card. They sign a card and it vanishes and ends up in an impossible location. In this case, it would end up on the paperclip. And I absolutely love that effect because you can kind of, keep it in your pocket. And before the whole COVID thing, I used to work a lot of restaurants, rolling magic gigs. And big thing with me was pocket management and how do you get the most out of your magic without carrying, briefcases full of magic or looking like you have a million things stuffed in your pocket. So definitely pocket management was a big thing. Now everything is done virtually or social distancing, and it's totally changed the way that I perform now. So things are definitely different. But it's actually, believe it or not, it's made me a better magician because other than a few, instances where I was performing on camera, whether it was, a TV spot or something totally random, I'm almost every other day or every day performing on video and doing magic on video or dropping stuff on the floor like you saw before. Um, so yeah, man. Um,
So, I had a question for you, and then I forgot it. Okay, well, I'll ask you another question. Who is your favorite magician out of the ones that you follow or you know?
oh man, favorite magician, like current, like what's
Yeah,
popping now.
well, current
I
from the
really
past
like.
doesn't matter. Which one do you look up to the most?
I really like Justin Willman. Justin Willman, I love his humor and I love his relaxed style of performing. I totally dig him. Blake Voigt, one of my favorites is Blake Voigt. I think he's a wonderful creator and creates magic thinking outside the box. I love his stuff too. And those are the two that come to my mind right now. I mean, of course, growing up, like David Copperfield was, the thing. David Copperfield was a big influence because I'm 43, and growing up, he was like the, the shiznit. He was the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was the guy. He was really the only magician who was on TV doing back in the days. They had specials, and so he did
Right.
things the Great Wall of China, or he made the Statue of Liberty disappear, which I thought was pretty awesome, pretty incredible. And when David Blaine came out, he kind of revolutionized close-up magic and street magic of what it is today. So you definitely got to pay homage to David Blaine too. Kind of popping on the scene, doing close-up magic on TV, which was pretty awesome. And another guy growing up, Doug Henning, who I think he's like one of the first guys to do close-up magic on TV as well. Before David Blaine, Doug Henning had a special that kind of was just kind of phasing off TV as I was getting into magic.
Mm.
So those are guys that come to my mind. You know, um, some card magicians who I really like. Lee Asher was a big influence on my life growing up. Lee is actually from South Florida, and I got the chance to spend a lot of time with him. We kind of grew up not too far from each other, and he had a stint at my pop's magic shop as well, and we became really close. And I know his father, and then also Larry Jennings was a big influence. Di Vernon, and a lot of the classic magicians that I don't know if kids nowadays learning magic, they're familiar with these guys, but they're sort of like the creators of what we do, like the
Right.
close and stuff.
So, what is your opinion, or what do you think of magic exposure, like on YouTube and stuff like that? Do you think that helps towards the magic community, or do you think it hurts it, or maybe a little bit of both?
I think a little bit of both. I think I'm really frustrated when I see magic being taught on YouTube, especially magic that's not original to that person. And especially, I could tell that they haven't learned it from the source, that they've learned it from someone else, either on YouTube or maybe someone at a convention or who knows where they learned it from. But without giving proper credit where credit is due, it loses something, I think. And I've seen tricks being taught on YouTube that are not the full trick, maybe a move or maybe something that's totally wrong. And now other magicians are going to learn that way, or other people trying to be magicians are going to learn the wrong way. So, and then magic being taught on YouTube, like if you're a creator and you create something, that's cool, but also it's out there for everyone to see. There's nothing worse when I do a magic show and I do something and someone's like, "Oh, I'm gonna, how's it done?" And I'm not gonna tell someone how it's done. I'm very cordial about it, and I have certain lines I say, when someone asks me, how's a trick done. But I know they're gonna go on Google and try to look, try to search, the in Kiwi trick or something, because that's a trick I do in my show, where someone signs $100 bill, it vanishes in a flame of fire and it ends up inside of a kiwi, and we cut it open, and I know they're going to probably try to search for it online. Whether they're successful or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, man, it definitely puts a damper on what we do.
Yeah, you actually just mentioned it, but what is your favorite line to use when somebody says, "How did you do that?"
I mean, growing up, there were lines like, very well, thank you, or can you keep a secret? So can I, stuff like that. I just say stuff like lots of practice and self-denial, or something like, if I really truly told you how to trick work, it would ruin it. And there's no value. Nobody is interested in the secret. The secret is not amazing. It's the magic. And if I tell you how it's done, it would ruin it for you. And I never claim to have special magic powers or, I'm not a wizard or a sorcerer or anything like that. I just practice a lot. I put a lot of time into making it look like real magic. But I kind of dodge questions like that, when I'm out doing shows and stuff. But I'll usually say lots of practice and self-denial, and they laugh it off, and I'll show them something else. So yeah.
This is the next question. This is more geared towards people that are getting into magic or beginners. But how do you deal with hecklers when you're, maybe out on the streets performing or even at a stage show?
Sometimes I'll ignore them. And nowadays, I don't really get a lot of hecklers because I kind of, I think that, I have a easygoing personality where I try to really get the audience on my side from the jump, from right out the gate. And I'm never standoffish at all, and sometimes I'll just give them a look like, almost like a death stare, but I'll give them a look. But I here's stock lines. It depends where I'm at, really. It depends. Like if I'm in an adult show and it's all adults, I have some adult lines that I'll use. But it's knock on wood. I haven't had a lot of heckling in the past years, so I can't really even answer that really. But I'll tell you. I don't know for our viewers. There's a line from Gazzo, and Gazzo has a book of it's called Read Between the Lines, and I think it looks like that, Read Between the Lines, and it's like a book just for hecklers, and there's some real funny ones there. And I don't know who's gonna watch this, but there are some great ones for adult shows, and Gazzo has a great book like that.
Nice. So for those that have, that are performers on this channel that are watching, that have problems, and I do myself sometimes still, when you're performing for people and you start to get nervous and you start to shake, what are your your tips to overcome the nervousness?
Everybody gets a little nervous before a show, whether it's anxiety, performance anxiety, or if it's the jitters, or you know, similar things like even when I go out on a show, sometimes I wouldn't say I'm nervous, but I'm excited and the adrenaline is pumping, and I think it changes over time. The more experience you have as a performer, and the more that you practice in front of people. There's nothing like performing in front of people is the best practice. I think whenever I'm going to try something new, the only way to do it is just to do it, and just to get out there and to do it. And everyone is a little nervous. I think the famous comedian Robin Williams said, if you're not nervous before you go out and perform, you should find something else to do, because I don't know why he said that, but it kind of makes sense a little bit. And I would say that the more that you perform and the more you get out there in front of people, the less nervous you'll be. And maybe something, I don't have a special trick or something, but I would say that before you start performing, talk to the person before.
Yes.
If you're on video and you're doing it on video, um, you know, you shouldn't be nervous, because it's just you, man. It's just you by yourself and the camera, and nobody's watching at that point, and it's just you. So you shouldn't feel nervous. And in front of people, sometimes you could just kind of talk to them first. When I
Yeah.
used to do magic in restaurants, sometimes I'd go up to a table and just kind of introduce myself and just talk to them before even doing a magic effect. And sometimes I wouldn't even perform an effect. I just kind of walk up, hey, good evening, guys. How you doing? How's everything? And just kind of open up a dialogue with them and start talking to them. And then kind of, you kind of relax a little bit. So I don't have a certain technique or a formula to overcome nervousness, but I'll tell you, there's sometimes, like, if I have a show and there's hundreds of people out there, and I definitely will get the jitters a little bit. I've never thrown up before a show, but you might get the jitters, but you got to know that this is what you do. Be confident in what you do, and there's a reason you're doing it. And if you're doing a show and you're performing magic, you've practiced, you know what you're doing, you're good. You have to be confident in yourself. And you definitely, confidence is key. And you should know there's been times where I'm like, am I a fraud? Sometimes I feel like a fraud, like, maybe, this isn't the right thing for me. And then I think, this is what I do. This is who I am. I've put the work in. I've practiced. I've performed. And then you kind of realize, that, you're ready for it. I'm just kind of rambling and babbling on, because I don't really have a formula for nervousness, but everybody gets a little nervous. Even top pros, whether they admit it or not, everyone gets a little nervous. And the way around that, I would say, is to perform as much as you can in front of people. Get out there and
You touched on it a little bit when talking about, like, restaurant magic. You just kind of go up and start talking to them. But and I would assume you have some experience doing this, if not a lot. What would your recommendation be for approaching people if they're just like on the street and you want to do street magic in order to maybe get gigs or get some following?
like busking, like performing on the street, doing street magic.
Either busking, or I'm thinking more like just going up to random people, kind of like David Blaine style, and be like, "Hey, can I show you something?" Like, do you have experience doing that, or?
I do. And there have been times when I've been, when I was younger, I'd say in my 20s, like, I was, down and out, and I needed an outlet, and I hit the streets and I started doing some street magic. And that is the most difficult setting to do magic in. That's very difficult because you are trying to stop random people walking by and then try to gather a crowd. So there's a whole science to that as well. And here in South Florida, we have South Beach, and so I used to hit South Beach. And nowadays, you actually need to have a vendor's ID to perform and to do street magic there. But in South Beach, I definitely used to bring my magic stuff, set it up, and try to gather a crowd. And that's very difficult to do. And what I would do is I would just try to stop as many people, let them know we're just about to start a magic show. It's awesome. I've seen it before. And just try to, open a dialogue with these people to get them to stop. Something maybe to catch their attention, maybe something bigger, and definitely a sign that says you're about to do a magic show. And, there's lots of material out there on street performing, especially from that guy I mentioned earlier, Gazzo. Gazzo, I had the opportunity to spend some time with Gazzo. He was performing in Key West, which is here in South Florida, a little further south than where I'm at. But Gazzo has lectured at my magic shop, and I became friends with Gazzo. Gazzo is the guy and the source for street magic. But as far as stopping people, it's again, I think it's confidence, and it's confidence in knowing that you're a dope magician. This is what you do, and you have to be confident in yourself, even if you know that you're just kind of learning and you're just starting out. Confidence is definitely key.
Definitely, man. Good stuff. So, I think I want to kind of go more towards the end of the conversation here. In order to do that, I'm going to backtrack to the very beginning, kind of full circle. You said that that the very first trick you learned was the ball and vase, and you said that you prefer doing card magic the most, or that's when you're kind of more like you see as a hobby and magic as a profession, and your favorite card trick was like the ACR, like the ambitious card routine. So besides for the ambitious card, and maybe it's not even a card trick, what was the very first advanced trick that you learned?
Oh man, when I was young, we always wanted to learn a trick called reset. A trick called reset by it's a trick called reset by Paul Harris, and it was like
you explain it.
Yeah, it was like a difficult card trick with lots of difficult moves, and that was a trick that I always wanted to learn and master when I was kind of coming up, and it was in this book called Super Magic by Paul Harris, and for some reason, when I was in school, learning from books was very difficult for me. I have a learning disability. I think I have dyslexia that was never really picked up on, and so. For some reason, I'm like a savant. When I read magic books, I can pick up effects very quickly and kind of master them that way. And that was a trick that actually it was like one of the first, difficult card tricks that I learned to perform. Another one that I'm thinking about it was Derek Dingle's Rollover Aces. Derek Dingle has a book. If you give me 1 second, I'll show it to you. So this is that book, Super Magic. Paul Harris, Super Magic. And this book contains awesome magic, very cool magic.
And then Astonishment, the full series by Paul Harris.
Yeah, you have the books. It's like like a big hardback. Yeah, those are great.
The only unfortunate thing is you said you have dyslexia, which is kind of like a mental thing, right? Well, I have a bigger thing. I have bipolar, so when I was really going through strong phases of it, for some reason, I don't know what was going on in my mind, but I started ripping certain pages out of one of the books, so it's missing a couple tricks.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man. If there's anything you're missing, I'll help you out, man. I got your back, buddy.
No, man, I appreciate that. Yeah.
That's the Super Magic, and then this is the complete works of Derek Dingle. Let me turn it like this. Complete works of Derek Dingle, And this has got some sick magic in it too. One of my favorites.
That's very cool. All right, so you performed bone vase, which is, it's a great starting routine, and you're just kind of demoing that. But I know I kind of caught you off guard here, possibly. But is there a trick that you'd like to show to kind of bring things together?
Speaking of David Copperfield, I am no David Copperfield, but I can make the Statue of Liberty disappear, just like David Copperfield. So, since we are not near Liberty Island, the only thing I have close to the Statue of Liberty is a postcard of the Statue of Liberty. And as you can see her in all her glory, Statue of Liberty. And you're going to help me make the Statue of Liberty vanish, all right? So how about you do this? JR, give me the countdown. You give me the countdown, and we're going to make the Statue of Liberty vanish. So start counting down from 100 to 1.
100.
I'm just kidding. How about you do it for like 3, 2, 1, and we're going to make the Statue of Liberty vanish.
All right. 3,
All right?
3, 2, 1.
And check it out.
Nice.
And that is how you make the Statue of Liberty vanish. I hope it's still there on Liberty Island. But that is actually one of my favorite tricks to do through Zoom or a virtual magic show, because it's so super visual. And I've had this trick forever. And it's not like a trick I would do in a live show, strolling magic, because it's not practical. But since COVID hit, certain magic tricks are now practical.
Do you have any tricks of your own that you've created over the years?
I have. Some magicians are fantastic creators, and some magicians are fantastic performers. I'm one of those guys who I'm better at performing magic than creating magic. I have created things along the way. And when I was younger, I was like, oh man, I'm going to create this. I'm going to come out with this trick. I'm going to come out with that trick. Instead of mastering the magic that is available, that's out there. And there are some great creators out there. But like now that I'm a little older and I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I don't have as much time to sit and work on creating magic. But there are certain situations that I'm put in when I do perform magic that it turns out that I've created things on my own that to adapt for whatever circumstance in my show, or tricks that I am doing myself in my show. I did put a DVD out back in 2001, 2, and it was a DVD. I was actually maybe 100 and something pounds heavier because I was real heavy. I was a heavy dude, and then I kind of had a whole life change around, I'd say, 2007, 2008. I started working out, started getting in the gym, and I lost all that weight. And but it's funny because if you check that DVD out, I'm like really heavy in the DVD.
Yeah.
It actually was a DVD. I saw the DVD when it came out, and I couldn't believe how fat I was, and I gained so much weight. And it took that for me to look at myself on this DVD and be like, dude, I need a life change, man. And so I changed my life, and haven't looked back, man. And I try to always, eat right, stay in shape. I used to smoke cigarettes. I quit smoking, and just kind of did a whole 360. So,
awesome.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
Very cool. So I will. How about I show you something, because I like to demo myself.
Yeah, man, I would love to see a trick, and I will bust out a card trick. I got a cool card trick you might like.
Okay, cool. All right. So here's the idea. I'm gonna put my coffee aside so it doesn't. There we go. All right. So a deck of cards here. Now, in a deck of cards, there's 52 different cards. I'm gonna kind of give these a little bit of a mix. And in a game of poker, there's usually 5 cards dealt, right? But instead of 5, I'm going to deal 4 cards. So 4 hands of 4. And just like that. Are we good so far?
Yup, I'm following.
All right, great. So a lot of times I do this trick, and people accuse me of manipulating the cards and kind of controlling them in a certain way when dealing them out. So in order to take away any suspicion arisen, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of mix these up and give it a cut, and I'm gonna deal these back out. All right, just like so. Now, in a game of cards, what is poker specifically? What is the best four of a kind that you can get?
I would say the 4 aces.
Great, the 4 aces. So we're gonna look for this in this hand. I don't know where the aces are, but we're gonna look for aces. So what I want to do is go ahead and name. There's 4 piles here, right? So name a number 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Let's go with 2.
With 2?
Yes.
Okay. And the cards that you name, I'm gonna get rid of. We're gonna narrow it down. Okay. So now we have 1, 2, 3. Which pile do you want to get rid of?
Let's do 3.
3. Okay. And now we have 1 or 2. Which pile do you want to get rid of?
Let's get rid of 1.
We'll get rid of 1. Was that fair?
It's pretty fair, man.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do any like switcheroo, like, oh, I'm gonna keep this pile now. It was in a magician's force. I told you whatever pile that you said you wanted to get rid of, we get rid of that, right? So we narrowed it down to 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're gonna find an ace. So name a number 1, 2, 3, or 4.
3.
And do you want to keep that card or do you want to get rid of it? Actually, do you want to keep that card or do you want to pick another card to choose? I'll let you change your mind.
I want to keep that card.
So 3, right?
Yes, sir.
You'd be impressed if that was an ace.
I would be impressed.
There you go.
Sweet.
But the crazy thing is, not only was that an ace, but if you would have picked 1, that would have been an ace. If you would have picked 2, that would have been an ace. And if you would have picked 3, that's all 4 aces.
Awesome. Fantastic, buddy. That was a great trick, man.
Thanks. So you can show me the card trick you wanted to show me.
Yeah. Let's do it, man. So I'm just going to back up a little bit so you could see. Can you see? How's the lighting? Is the lighting okay?
Yeah, the lighting's fine.
All right. Cool. All right. So check this out. In a second, I am going to ask you to pick a card, all right? And since you're not here to physically take a card out, since you're not here to actually take one, what I want you to do is I'm going to drop the cards. I'm going to dribble them from my hand like that, and wherever you say stop, that's going to be your card, okay? So when I drop the cards like this,
stop.
Just stop. Oh, you've done this before, I could tell. All right, and I don't know if there's a little lag. Is there a little lag?
Yeah, there might be, so that's why I'm doing it fast.
Cool. So, all right. So when I drop the cards, just say stop. All right. 1, 2, 3. Stop. Oh, stop. I'm sorry. They stuck together. Let me wind them up here. All right. Here. And go.
Stop.
Right there. No more, no less. Right here.
That's good.
All right. Fantastic. All right. So here. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this card. I'm just going to set these down for a second. And I'm not going to look, but I've seen the trick before. It's pretty good. Got it?
Yeah, sure. Got it.
Remember the card. Don't forget it. Cool?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome. So here, I'm going to leave it right here, and we are going to leave it out. And just so you can see, it definitely goes inside the middle, lost inside the center. And since you're a magician, I will tell you no breaks, no cuts, no crimps, nothing like that. And we'll also give it a good shuffle. All right? And how many times should I shuffle?
3 would be good.
All right, so that was just 1, right? 1. So here, there's 2. Let's see. And one more time. Let's give it a good shuffle. All right, so check this out. That's not your card, is it?
No.
Oh, that would be good if I shuffled it.
Yeah.
That'd be a good trick. All right. So here, check this out. I actually have something that you've never seen before, and probably something you'll never see again. Have you ever seen one of these before?
Yeah, it looks like one of my past girlfriend's razor blades.
Well, oh yeah. I'm just gonna angle this down so you can see. the table here. Let me bring the table back. Actually, this is an electric razor. Yeah, this is it's an electric razor. It's my electric razor. And I'll tell you, the cool thing is what you do is you open it up like this. You open it up, and inside, that's where you keep the razor. All right. So here, watch. I'm gonna take the razor and put this here so you could see it. All right. Watch the razor. The razor goes inside the box of cards. Check this out. And if you were here, I'd have you shake it up. When you shake it once, I'm sorry. I think I blew it. You're not supposed to shake it more than once. You're just supposed to give it one. I shook it too much. I'm so sorry, man. Actually, you know, this is when you shake it like that, you actually end up ruining. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Look, I'm so sorry. I totally blew that. But look, but there's one card. There's one card that is not cut up in the plethora of cut up cards here. And what was the name of your card for the first time?
6 of diamonds.
Wait, not that, wasn't the 8 of clubs?
No.
All right, good. That's what I got. The 6 of diamonds. Holy Schmanoply.
Very good. Very good.
Diamonds. It's a miracle. It's a Christmas miracle. It's not even Christmas.
But anyways, yeah. It was great doing an interview with you, bro. I look forward to our next conversation. Just to keep up to date with each other. And thank you for getting on here.
Yeah, anytime, man.